Hi, Mark from Whole Latte Love. We've got Morgan behind the camera.
Hey, coffee lovers.
So today we're going to take a look at the Gaggia Syncrony Logic RS, the RS standing for Rapid Steam, and the Saeco Minuto class. Two machines that are kind of similar in some capabilities and very different in others. I mean, the first thing you're going to notice is the Syncrony Logic, a much wider machine. What was it, about 15?
Yes,
15
yep, little over 15 inches
little
wide.
15, and about 8 inches wide over here on the Minuto class. So it takes up a lot less space. Now they both use, for working with milk, they both use what's called a cappuccino style device. So we've got some milk just in a pitcher here. You could use a container of milk or whatever you want to feed it through a tube. But let's take a look at the systems up top here. Here's a water reservoir on the Syncrony Logic RS. Now you can remove that and fill it at a sink, or you can just take the lid right off.
It's 58 ounces.
58 ounces on that. And then the bean hopper up here. And you have some manual controls inside the bean hopper. We've got coffee dosage here, which ranges from 6 to 9 grams. And then we've got a burr grinder with 18 grind settings here. Moving over to the Minuto class, similar yet different. Here's the water reservoir. Both machines can use a water filter. We don't have one in either right now.
That's a 60-ounce water reservoir.
So just slightly larger.
Yeah.
And then for the bean hopper, that's right here. You can see some beans in there. It does have an adjustable grinder here. Now with this one, you use a tool and you have 5 grind settings. Okay, you just push down and turn this to change your grind. So if you're doing espresso, you have it finer generally, and if you're going longer coffee, you generally make that a little coarser. Also up here, and both machines have this as well, is a bypass doser. So you can put in pre-ground coffee here, so if you want a decaf or something a little different. Let's take a look at where the bypass doser is over here. You do have a little area you can store some cups up here if you want, and the bypass doser is right here, so you'd load that there. Now, one big difference between these machines is that the Syncrony Logic RS is a lot more manual in use. So to adjust the volume of coffee, you have a dial here that'll dispense from 1 to 8 ounces. So you can get, a larger cup of coffee out of here. Again, also the manual nature of the dosing and the grind control up here. And, you get a lot of grind settings here, so if you're really trying to fine-tune your espresso shots, you've got some capability to fine-tune with that grind right there. Over on the Minuto class, things are a little different. If you want to utilize the bypass doser, you've got a coffee strength button here. Right now we're at full strength with the 5 beans, so press once more. That indicates we want to use the bypass doser. And then you've got 5 strengths to set from. And that's just going to change the dose of the coffee right there. No menu system at all on the Gaggia Syncrony Logic. On the Minuto class, you do have a menu system here where you can adjust the temperature of your coffee and do a few other things. You can set an automatic shut-off time. You can adjust the contrast of the screen so it's not too bright and wake you up in the morning too hard. You can also, you'd get a test strip with this machine to test your water hardness. Looks like this. And you'd set that into the machine. You can also tell the machine whether you're using a water filter or not. And then based on that hardness setting, the use of a water filter, and the number of coffees you've made, it will tell you when to descale the machine, which you'd start from right here. You can also reset it to its factory settings. And on this machine, you can also program the amount you want dispensed. So you just press and hold the button when you get the amount in your cup that you want. You press it again, and that will be stored. And that's true of espresso, medium coffee, and large coffee. And that's another difference between the machine. This machine will do more of a drip style coffee. So espresso is brewed at about 9 bar of pressure. Flip this lever up if you're doing the medium or large coffee, and it goes to more of a drip style brewing using just 3 bars of pressure. So let's take a look. I thought what we'd do is have a little cappuccino off.
That sounds fun. Okay,
So
let's do it.
we're going to make a cappuccino at the same time on both machines. So what I'm going to do is first get the machines up to steam. So on the Minuto class, we press the steam button, then we choose whether we want hot water or we want steam. I'm going to select steam, so we'll get that going. Now over here on the Gaggia, we'll just flip this lever. You can also get hot water out of here. So we're letting this purge out a little bit. I'm going to watch the tube here until the milk starts coming up and then shut this down. And There we go. Then we'll put it over our cup and start that dispensing. And it's about that time. Now we're getting our froth out of both machines. And they do a nice froth here. Now, with both of these, there's no way to actually tell it when to stop. You have to tell it when you have the amount of froth that you want. Over on that Synchrony Logic, all you do is just flip the lever back, and I got about the amount I want there, so we'll stop that. And over here, we're just going to press the stop button. We'll stop that.
There's about a 5-second delay on the Saeco, so you want to stop it a couple seconds before you're done with your milk.
Just getting rid of the rest of the steam in there. So now we'll just move our cup over here under the spout, and we'll do the same thing over here on the Synchrony Logic. They both have a little bit of adjustability in the spout. You can see the clearance you have here. If you look over at the Minuto, this is as low as you go. Then you can move it up a little bit. If you have, say, a taller travel mug that you want to get under there, they'll definitely fit. And if you need even more room, you can take that right off. So now we've got pre-programmed amounts of espresso for both. Well, on this one we do, so we'll just hit the espresso button here and the espresso button here. So they're both grinding, fresh beans, of course. I'm going to move these spouts down. And they essentially work at about the same amount of time here.
So you've programmed your espresso on the Saeco, and now do you have to manually stop the espresso on the Gaggia, or?
No, we're using the dial here. So I've dialed in, about an ounce and a half here. Yeah, about an ounce and a half.
Okay.
So you can see there's our 2 cappuccinos.
Both have some nice layering going on there.
Yeah, and the froth is essentially using the same device here for frothing on both. You're going to get essentially the same type of froth out of both. Now let's take a look. The other difference is kind of how you service these machines. That is, empty things out and that. So on the Minuto, you just pull. You have to move the cappuccino out of the way. Pull off, and then any drippage that you have into the drip tray will go right back into here, and you can see that back in there. And then here's the drag box, which holds the used coffee pucks. So you just empty those out. This one holds about 15 cycles of brewing. And then now I'm going to move these out of the way. Over on the Synchrony Logic here, the drag box removes from the side and holds the used pucks there, still steaming, by the way. So you just pull that out and empty that out when you need to. The drip tray, just a little lift and pull out, and you can go empty that out. And both have an indication that pops up when they're full.
Okay.
Now the meat of these machines, of course, is inside. So we're going to take a look inside here. I'm going to take that out first. Pull that down. Is the Brew Group. So this is a little mini barista inside, if you will. So this is the business end of the machine. It does all the tamping that you see when the barista takes a tamper and tamps the coffee down. That happens all automatically inside of here. And they're very easy to deal with. About once a week, you'll just take it out and rinse it under some water. And then when you're done, you slide this back into the machine until it clicks in place. And put your stuff back together. And then over on the Minuto class here, that Brew Group's going to come out the side, so we'll just pull that out just a little bit. And the Brew Group's right here. Same thing, just take that out once a week, rinse it under some water at the tap, and press her back in. And then you're ready to go again. So again, now the big difference is, this is more of a manual control type of machine, and it doesn't do the drip style like the Minuto class is going to do. Also, a little more counter space for this one. But you do get a finer degree of control with the grinder here on the Gaggia. So if the quality of your espresso, if you're really into dialing in just the right grind, you're going to have an easier time of it here. The benefits for the Saeco Minuto class, it does that, again, drip style brewing with a little lever here. And you can just program the volume, so you can just, get exactly what you want in a program. You also have the auto off features and that type of thing. So kind of similar machines in some respects, and also very different. Oh, also on the Logic, you do have a turntable here, so if you need to turn and you want to get to that brewing box, you can do that.
Yeah.
And also a little place to put your cups up here. So that's the Gaggia Syncrony Logic RS with that rapid steam system, and the Saeco Minuto class.
Yeah, they're both available at wholelattelove.com.
Yeah, so go there, check them out. You can get some more information there as well.
Hey, why not subscribe now for easy free access to more videos on everything coffee, brought to you by wholelattelove.com.
Oh,